All right, let's
First,
do it.
I'm
Let me
gonna
put.
start off with I asked all the married people this since I'm engaged, and the goal of getting married is to stay married. It ain't to get married and be ready to get divorced in 3 months, get divorced after 5 years, after 10. The goal is for me, I feel like the goal is to stay married. If I'm gonna do this, I'm here. I'm in this for the
Okay.
long haul. I ain't get on
Yo,
this one
shoot.
knee. I ain't get on this one knee just to say, hey, after 2 years, I'm tired of you or whatever. Nah, I'm here. So
Yes.
my question is, give a nigga some marriage advice.
So the first, it's cliche as hell, but you really want to marry your friend. And the reason I say that is because, like, it's not enough to just love each other, but you also need to get along. And I think this is the wrong one, boo. I think right here, that's the wrong one. That's not iPhone. Yes. So, I think you really, really want to marry your friend because, like, in marriage, you guys are business partners as well. And unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, I think the process of being married sometimes you can kind of forget that, like, um, that you guys like have a good time and like laugh and enjoy each other's company, right? Like you
Mm,
think about when we were younger, you just like to be around your friends because they was your friends, right? Like they was your boys. You had sleepovers, you had all that shit, right? You played basketball, you just hung, right? And so like being able to do that with your partner is important because like as you guys grow and your life continues to grow, like you can get lost in the sauce of like just the business and the kind of like the what am I trying to say? Um like the everyday stuff of being married, right? Like you wake up, you go to work, she go to work, you start getting into a routine, which is good because like I think routine is healthy so you guys can kind of like, know what you guys got going on, right? But like you can get too lost into the routine and forget that like that's my girl, right? Like
yeah.
we have fun, like we crack jokes, we silly together, right? Like we can go out and do little role playing stuff like that, right? Like and so like I feel like one of the best things is like remember like you want to really marry your friend. You want to marry your
Yeah.
best friend, right? Because like you'll have male friends and you'll have your homeboys from like when you was younger and everything, but that it don't die off, but y'all grow up. And
Yeah.
so like when it's all said and done, all you got is your lady. And so like you want to make sure that it's not just a business transaction. It's not just because I love you, right? Like it's because like you my friend and you make me happy, you make me laugh and shit, right? Like and so I think that's definitely important. The other one though is this is hella important to me too. Marriage you you have to be willing to be selfless and you have to be willing to compromise because although people say that relationships and marriages are 50-50, there's always times where you might give more than she and she might give more than you. But as long as like you guys equally compromise and like and nobody feels like they're like being taken advantage of, that's the most important part because like there are going to be moments where like you're going to have to pick up some slack, there's going to be moments where she's going to have to pick up some slack, and so like you be selfless and you don't think about yourself, you think about that person because when you start thinking about yourself more, like you become selfish, but you want to
Yeah.
be selfless in a relationship, right? Like my one of the I always tell people, um, like I tell my wife that she has adult ADD. She's never been diagnosed with the shit, right? But like I tell her that because I've noticed that like she can do something and then something else will happen or something else will grab her attention and she won't finish that. And I had to ask myself like am I gonna let that? Am I gonna let that annoy me, or am I gonna accept that like that's just like I wouldn't call it a flaw, but like that's just something that she falls short at. Why would I just pick up the slack, right? Because I
Yeah.
know like certain things that I do that I might not even realize I'm doing it. She pick up the slack, right?
Yeah.
Like we considerate of each other and we selfless. We care about each other more than we care about ourselves. And those two, and so like those two are my big like one twos. Marry
Mm-hmm.
your best friend and be selfless.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm telling you, motherfucker at my job can buy a car. Hey, give me some marriage advice. Like I want all the advice, cause like I said, I'm in. If I got on one knee, that means I'm ready to do this.
No,
You know
it's
what I'm
real
saying?
shit.
Cause I could be out here fucking hella bitches, but I just got. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you, nigga. Growing up, I used to be. I wasn't shy, but when it came to females, I used to be a little nervous. You know what I'm saying? Then I got to a point where I wasn't so nervous. Like
Yeah,
senior year of high school, that's when I kind of broke out. And then after that, I started uh getting my shit together. Then
right.
like when was that? 22, 23? That's when I met her. Feel me? And then I was feeling her. I'm like, okay, let's do this. Let's get together. Let's get in a relationship, right?
Yeah.
But niggas fuck up. It is what it is. So I fucked up.
It take us longer. It really do.
Yeah.
It's something that people don't like to talk about because like certain some women might think that it's an excuse, but like we just mature. It take us longer to mature, right? Like it really really does. And so like there are though you do make mistakes with a great woman. Like
Yeah.
you can have a great woman and still make mistakes because you just haven't matured into the man that she needs you to be. Like you're definitely that guy that she was attracted to and everything, but like you still growing into like the man that like you're not a finished product by any means necessary. By any means, men take a lot longer, and it's a truth that a lot of folks don't want to hear, but it's honest.
And I was crazy. Like I said, I think a lot, and I knew that. I was like, I'm not ready for a family. I'm not ready to stand up and be on my own. Like if I need to take care of this shit, I wasn't ready for that, right? So what I did was, I ain't gonna lie, I fucked up. I got caught, and I was like, and she was like, but I was already like, I need to. My thing was, I need to move out and be on my own. I never lived by myself. I never had my own spot. I was like, I need to know how it is to be on my own, how it is to rely on myself, not have no safety net, and figure this shit out. That way, when I am ready, I know how to do it. I know I can't complain when shit gotta be done. If I'm late a little bit, I gotta figure this shit out. So that was my whole thing. I was like, I need to live by myself, so I know what it is to actually take care of myself. Because if I can't take care of myself,
Yeah,
if I can't pay my light bill, if I ain't paying my rent, how the fuck am I going? How could the fuck could I ask another person to depend on me? How could I
yeah,
ask another person to start a family with me? How could I ask another person to bring a child in this world and I'm not dependable on myself?
yeah. That's real. That I
Yeah.
when so I had my first child is from a previous relationship, right? And you never ready, but you make the best of it, right? But like I knew when that unfortunately that didn't work out. We went our separate ways, but like still want to make sure I'm being the best father that I can with the circumstances that I'm had because like the kid is usually gonna go with the mom and unless she's on drugs and stuff like that, that whole stuff, right? But like you want to remain present, but getting with my wife, I I didn't want to do that again. I did not
Mm-hmm.
want to go through that again, and I wanted to experience having you know both of us in the household, both of us, and what we feel is important in our values and stuff to be pushed on to our child
Mm-hmm.
because unfortunately if you do have a child by someone doesn't that might still be scorned or something like that, right? Like your views and her views aren't gonna align, but the kids usually gonna pick up on that, right? And so like it's unfortunate, but my first daughter kind of is I'm dealing with that right now, right? So like um I've never been the type of guy to want to make the mistake twice, and so when it came to me getting married, um I wasn't ready at all, but I did know three things. I knew that I wanted her to be happy. I knew that I was going doing it was going to make her family happy, which I really, really, took near and dear to my heart. And the other thing is that like um she had said something to me that like never left. She was when I was in construction, she was like if something because I did heavy equipment operating, and she was like if something happened to you in construction for whatever reason, or and you die, she was like, I'll never get to see Amaya again. And I was like, you know what, you're right. Like I didn't think about it like that, right? Like there are
Hmm.
certain things that a wife gets privileges of doing versus just a girlfriend. And
Hmm.
when she said that to me, that was one of the things like I really was like, okay, like you might not be 100% ready, but you can't expect this girl to keep on waiting. And you got
Exactly.
more than enough reasons to do so. But that was the one that really kind of like really put life in perspective for me, right? And it
Hmm.
was, the best decision to be honest, because as you hear me talk about a lot on my social media, right? Like I believe we better together. Like
Yeah.
and as soon as you can find somebody that you feel decide that you really want to be with and share your life with, like it just gets better, right? Like
Hmm.
I'm not rich, but together we are fine. And it's so much. If we in the Bay, it's so much. I ain't saying just get
Oh
married for
man.
financial reasons, but like let's not kid ourselves. It's hard to make it out here with one income, and so having two is a lot better, and it just allows you to open doors that you wouldn't be able to be open, right? Like I ain't no tech person, like I'm not no CEO and shit like that, right? I'm a blue collar dude that drive trucks, right? So like like I make solid dough, but like by myself I wouldn't be able to have my house and shit, right? Like I wouldn't be able to do that. Yeah, I would because I don't have that type of employment. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like I didn't go to college, so like, do I go back to college at 37? I don't think so, right? Like that's not in everybody's cards. But
Yeah.
like getting married, because this is people nowadays believe that like it's not gonna work or it doesn't last. That's not true. The people that say that are the people that they're not ready. And the people that's breaking up fast, I just heard that like, dang, it's finna get divorced. They was only together 2 years. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. If your marriage only lasts 2 years, you wasn't in it for the long haul anyway. And that's some
Exactly.
real shit, right? Like it's just no way because like you don't do all that stuff and plan it and spend all that money just for it to be over in 2 years. That's 24 months. That don't make no
Yeah.
fucking
That's
sense.
that ain't shit. They was probably dating way longer than that.
Thank you, because me
Can't
and my,
let.
me and my wife dated for 5 years, and we've been married for 5 years, right? So imagine if
Okay.
we got married for was broken up at was divorced after 2 years. Your equation would be absolutely right. Y'all dated for five, and then you only made marriage last for 2 years. Y'all wasn't ready.
Yeah.
Somebody wasn't ready.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And a lot of now I'm learning with how motherfucker I'm stubborn. She's stubborn. I'm stubborn. But at the end of the day, as a man, I gotta let certain shit go. Like when she say certain shit, is certain. Sometimes I gotta be like, all right, whatever. All right, bet. What'd you say? All right, bet. My bad. My bad. My bad. You got it. You got it. You got it.
I'm gonna tell you. Um, so like in the kitchen. This is a great example of like how you just kind of learn like to navigate each other, and it's not that you're avoiding shit, you're just learning and understanding the best way for your guys' world to work. So like
Mm-hmm.
I'm more of a cooking guy, right? But because of my schedule and and how early I got to go to sleep, and because the white wife work from home now, she's adopted the cooking stuff, right? But
Mm-hmm.
there are days that I get home and like because I start at 4:30, I'm usually off no later than 2, right? And so like that's plenty of time for me to get home, work out and everything. But like when I see that like maybe the day has just been kind of tough, maybe Rylan has just kind of been kind of fussy, like I open the refrigerator and kind of prep and do everything right, or like like I pick up the slack where I know I can and I should, because what I learned early in our marriage was that like you guys are a team, and she's gonna be your biggest cheerleader, and you got to be her biggest cheerleader. But any problem y'all got, it's y'all's it's gonna be you guys just to work and figure it out, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so like when it comes to the kitchen, I believe, and I was kind of taught like the dishes and everything should be clean before you start cooking and stuff like that. She doesn't really she It's not that she don't do it, but like her version, it's not the same as mine. And so like I remember I would come home and I'd be like, damn, like, like I was like, you ain't do certain things, and I started to see that I was nitpicking and nagging, and I was like, well, that's not gonna do us no good, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
so what can you do on your end? Because it's not like she's doing it on purpose. It's just that
Yeah.
like her process ain't the same as yours, and so I remember telling her like, you know what, this is what I'm gonna do on my end because I don't want us to go back and forth over something silly as some fucking dishes, right? So what
Mm-hmm.
I would do is when I came home and I noticed certain things, right? Like I'd be like, okay, boom, I got it. Before I did my shakes, before I took my pre-workout and start working out, like I would just do my part, right? Because I know she's not like I'm just not watching this so he can get mad, right? There's other stuff going on in the fucking house, and so like
Yeah.
we're a team, so we gonna work together. And so as she see me doing it, she would kind of like when she remember and when she notices, like, because like I said, adult ADD, right? It's a running joke in the house, but it's a true a little bit, right?
Yeah.
So like she follows suit a little bit, right? And so it's like, do you nag at something that's not necessarily going to change, but I know she ain't doing it on purpose and she's trying, or do you say, okay, how can I what can I do to help the situation? And that's so
Yeah.
that's number three on my list when in a marriage, right? It's that
Mm-hmm.
compromising, right? Like some people say, like, well, you always compromising. That's not that's not true. You just hear about mine, you don't hear about hers. She
Yeah.
compromised a lot for my shit too, right?
Yeah.
So like, but again, it's being selfless and it's understanding that like you guys are a team and you are going to be better together than you would be separately or at each other's throats.
Yeah. 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 That's some great advice. I ain't gonna lie.